Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Lane Pancook. You can call me by Mr. Lane, Mr. L, whatever you want to call me. It's okay. Today, our lesson is going to be over consent. Basically, I want to start out by asking all you guys what you guys believe consent is. So let's go, Greg. Okay, yeah, that's very good. What about you, Hunter? What do you think consent is? Okay, yeah. You both are correct. Both correct. You both kind of got a good understanding about what consent really is. But there's also many different types of consent. It could be varied from very many different things. So today we're gonna go over consent. We're gonna learn about it and kind of hopefully get you guys a better idea and understanding about what consent is real quick. But first, I'm gonna pass out a handout. Uh, I believe I emailed it to all you guys already. I know it's kind of hard doing it over Zoom. It's a little bit different. So if you guys can pull it up on your computers with your email and go through the paperwork as we're going through the PowerPoint, that'd be awesome. I'll give you a couple seconds to pull that up and get it ready. So give me a thumbs up when you guys are all ready to go, and we'll go ahead and start this PowerPoint. Hope everyone's day has been going well. I'm excited for you guys to be here. All right, looks like everybody's got the thumbs up, so we're gonna go ahead and start this PowerPoint, and remember to follow along with the PowerPoint as you're doing the handout. So make sure you fill in the handout as we're doing the PowerPoint. They go hand in hand, and I'm gonna be going over the handout and reviewing it after the class, and giving you guys feedback on it as well. So here we go. So like I said, the video is by consent. It's about consent. PowerPoint's about consent. I mean. What does consent mean? Well, consent means when someone gives you permission for something to happen or an agreement from two different people about to do something. It's consent can also vary from many different things, as it can mean having sexual intercourse with someone, your spouse, your girlfriend, wife, etc., someone you just met. Doesn't matter. But it also can mean letting a police officer search your car after you got getting pulled over, or as like a suspicion of a DUI or intoxicants. It also can mean you can give someone consent to come in your own house, or someone can give you consent to go in their own house. Either way, consent can vary for many different things. It's not just through sexual intercourse. It's through a variety of different things. It's just an agreement between you and another person, or agreement between you and many different people, as it could be, uh, to let someone either search your car, to have sexual intercourse, come in your own home, even if you're signing a paper for like I guess you're signing your paper to go to college. You're giving that college consent, saying you are going to commit to go to school there. It's commitment. It's an agreement between you and someone else. It's consent. So this next slide I put a picture, and it says, does this mean consent? And I liked it because it gave a bunch of no's, and it really is only one yes, but that one yes is basically what it is, right? So we'll go over the no's first, and it says they said yes earlier in the day or yesterday about it. Well, that's not consent. That's not what's going on in the moment. They could have said yes yesterday to give each other a kiss, but today you just walk up to him and give him a kiss. That's not consent. You can't just do that. You gotta make sure you guys are both on agreement about what you're about to do. Just because you're dating doesn't mean you have consent to grab that girl's butt, or give her a kiss, or do anything like that. You have to ask her. You have that communication between each other, and it could go both ways, girl and guy. The girl can't just walk up to the guy and give him a kiss. That's not consent. It's still technically sexual harassment, sexual assault, all that kind of stuff. Just because you're dating doesn't mean you guys are allowed to do those things. They didn't say no. Well, that doesn't matter. That means they're probably ignoring you, or trying to avoid the question about what you asked for. They said no. You can't just walk up. It's because they didn't say no doesn't mean they said yes. You can't just walk up to them, give them a kiss, do all those type of things. if they're not sober, they're drunk, they've been drinking all night, or they've been smoking, doing something like that, and doesn't mean they're giving you consent to go, sexually harass that person or uh, sexually assault that person. You can't just because they're drinking and they're not sober doesn't mean they're doesn't it doesn't just because they're not sober just because they're not sober doesn't mean you have the right to do whatever you want to that person. They're not saying anything. Well, that doesn't give you consent to do whatever you want. You can't just walk up to a girl and slap her in the butt, or the girl can't walk up to a guy and slap him on the butt. Just because they're not saying anything doesn't mean you can do whatever you want to that person. They're still trying to ignore it. They're ignoring you for a reason. They're ignoring that question because they don't want to have a conflict conversation with you, or feel like they have to because you're pressuring them, or putting that pressure on them. They said yes to something else. That's still not consent. Hey, let's go. You want to go to dinner with me? Well, you can't grab that person's hand while you're going to dinner. You have to ask, hey, you want to hold hands? Just because they said yes to go on the date with you doesn't mean you're fully in. You're fully into that thing. If they're unresponsive, then you can't. It's the same thing. You're not allowed to just do whatever you want to that person because they're not talking, or they're sleeping, they're passed out drunk, or they're passed out and they're not aware of what's going on. It's still considered rape, still considered sexual assault, still considered sexual abuse. It's still not consent. If they're smiling at you and you think they're flirting with you, doesn't mean you can do whatever you want with that person. You can't go up to them and kiss them. Can't do all that stuff. Same thing. If they're dressed in a certain way, like you're at a beach, and they're in their bathing suits, or or a guy's running down the road and with no t-shirt on. You can't do whatever you want to that person. You can't sexually assault or sexually harass. You can't do anything with that person just because the way they're dressed. Still against the law. Now the yes is they verbally give you permission. They say about to what's about to happen. You walk up to them, hey, can I give you a kiss? Yes, you may. Then you have the permission. You're both on the agreement to give each other a kiss and do etc. And it also is same thing with the verbally given permission to what's about to happen. A cop goes to your car and says, hey, can I search your car for evidence? And you say yes. Whatever they find in that car, they are allowed to use against you in the court of law, court of anything. If you don't find anything perfect, you're golden. But if you can't, if you give them permission to do it, or you give someone the permission to come in your house, well, now they're allowed to come in your house. But you say no, they're not allowed to come in the house. Now it's breaking entry technically, and you're not allowed to go in there. That's why I chose this one, because it has a bunch of no's with that one yes, but that one yes is really what's the meaning of consent. So now, why is it important to receive consent? Well, it's important because you don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to get arrested. You don't want to do all those things. You got to have consent to do these things. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. You will receive punishment. It also is about communication. If you're communicating with that person and you receive the consent, then perfect. Then you have the option to do those things. It's about honesty and respect. And also, if you give a person the honesty and the respect that they deserve, it makes those sexual relationships better. When they finally do give you permission to give them a kiss or have sex or do anything like that, it will make you feel better. It'll make them feel better. It's respecting each other, and it's being honest with each other. Asking for and obtaining consent shows respect for yourself and your partner as well. It's a big part about respecting yourself, I feel like, because if you don't want to be that guy that's intruding on somebody, pressuring them to do something. Personally, for me, I think that there should be something in place to get yourself in trouble if you're pressuring someone or pushing something on someone. Even if it's a smoke something or drink, or going on a drive, or even if it's sexual assault, sexuality stuff. Either way, you want to obtain that consent, show respect for you and for your partner and yourself. It eliminates the entitlement that one partner might feel over the other. So I'm not gonna be feeling like the alpha male or the alpha person. It eliminates that all around if you are respecting that person and you receive the consent to do those things. Also, I really like this one. It's neither your body nor your sexuality belongs to someone, meaning as you you control your body, you control everything that goes on with your body. You don't need someone to tell you what you can and cannot do with yourself and your body or your choices. It's your choices, your body, your choice. I really like that one. And now it's the punishment you will receive if you don't receive consent. Well, like I said, consent can vary for many different things. jail time, fines, suspended license, probation, registered sex offender. They all, and there's even more that can happen if you do not receive consent from these things. So you got to be careful, and you always want to make sure you receive your consent. You don't want to do these things and not receive consent, because then you could possibly end up in jail, prison even. You can face a crazy amount of fines, which costs you money, and you don't want that. You could lose your license for driving drunk, all that kind of stuff, and you give consent to the police officer, blah blah blah. You can lose your license, which results in probation. All these things add up, and if you do something sexually to somebody without receiving consent, then you have to register as a sex offender, and everybody in America and even the people around you will know that you're a sexual offender, and they're not going to want to hang out with you. They're not going to want to hire you at the job. They're not going to want to do all these things with you. Okay, so that's the end of our PowerPoint. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys give you a couple here, about another minute or so to finish up this PowerPoint, and then we're gonna move on to our quiz. Okay, so make sure you get all your stuff done. Make sure you finish that handout. If you have any questions, I can answer them. And I will also open up the floor at the end of the class to give you guys options to ask questions or anything like that as well. So go ahead and finish up their assignment and ask any questions if you need to ask any questions. I'm gonna pass out these. Quizzes for you guys. Okay. I think that's enough time to have filled out the handouts. So go ahead and pass them up, and we're gonna go ahead and go on to our quiz now. Okay. So I also emailed the quiz to you guys, so go ahead and pull that up. I'll give you another about 30 seconds to pull it up. And then, like I said, you just make sure you give me a thumbs up when you're ready to start the quiz, and I will start the timer. You guys got 6 to 7 minutes to finish the quiz, and then we'll go on to any questions, and then we'll go ahead and break out for class. So, okay, it looks like everyone's ready to start the quiz. So go ahead and start the quiz right now. Like I said, I'm gonna give you about 6 to 7 minutes to finish the quiz. So get going. No talking, no cheating. Eyes on your own paper as well. Don't be one of those guys. You should know all these answers. They're based off our handouts and our PowerPoint. So every question on that quiz has everything you need. So you got about a minute per question. There's seven questions on the quiz. So go ahead and do that. Right here, if you guys need any questions, clarifications on any of the questions, I'm here to help. I will not give you the answer, but I will help you out. And I'm also going to go ahead and grade these at the end of after class today, and go ahead and give it back to you tomorrow, so that way you can see what you got wrong, or what you need to work on, or what you need a little bit more clarification for. And then also, when you're done, go ahead and bring them up to me, and or go ahead and submit them into your file on Moodle, and we'll go from there. Once I see everyone submitted them and you're done with them, give me a thumbs up when you're done. So that way I know we can move on to the next thing. Okay, guys, got about another 2 to 3 minutes, so hustle up, get it all done so we can move on. We only got about 5-6 minutes after class, so then we want to make sure we can get our questions or everything clarifications that we need to get done, that you guys want to maybe know a little bit more about. So let me know. Give me a thumbs up when you're done. Got about a minute left, so make sure you hustle up, get everything done, get it submitted. Okay, well, it looks like everybody's just about done. Yeah, it looks like everyone's done. So we will go on to questions. If anybody has, I'm open the floor up to all of you guys for questions, and we can talk about it real quick. Greg, it looks like you have a question. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a really good question. How do I communicate in the moment with my spouse or somebody in the police officer? Well, I know for me, it can get very like heated or like nerve-wracking, I guess you can say. How I communicate with them, I try and stay calm as I possibly can, as respectful as I can. Because when I tend to get angry or frustrated, I say some things I regret or don't want to say. So for me, how I communicate in the moment would be is just I just try and control my breathing, control my anger, let them know how I feel, and then I'll sit there and listen to let them talk and see how they feel about it, and we'll move on from there, trying to respect each other's boundaries and respect each other in the moment as an adults, as in people, as in a police officer talking to me as adults. Um, yeah, just respecting each other's boundaries and not trying to push somebody or trying to pressure them into doing the things that they don't want to do. I'd say probably is the best for me is how I communicate in the moment. Terry, do you have a question? Okay, that's a really good question as well. How do I react when my partner sets boundaries? Well, it's basically like for me, I try and respect those boundaries because I don't want to push them to do other things because it's only going to affect our relationship with each other. It's going to make us despise one another. I can say we're not going to want to communicate as well. It'll make the relationship just go downhill really really fast, and it's just going to ruin basically everything that we've had and built up to this point. Especially if I'm like, hey, let's do this. Come on, come on, it's just a kiss, it's just a kiss, it's just a kiss. It will end up, making them be pushed away from me and not want to be with me, not want them to talk to me anymore. Our communication is gonna end up sucking. Our honesty and our respect for each other is gonna go downhill. It's just gonna go bad. Just gonna not gonna be okay. Is there any more questions for anybody? And does that kind of clarify yours, Terry, Greg's question up a little bit for everybody? Okay, well, that's all I have for today for our class. Thank you for participating and listening. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about consent, and I'm gonna go ahead and grade these papers after class today, and I'll get them back to you, and we can, yeah, just kind of go over it and figure out everything else that maybe someone missed a question or anything like that. We can go over those questions tomorrow. Yeah, have a great next rest of your day and have a good class. I'll see you guys later.